That's why we decided to, in our manifesto, to increase the number of the members of the armed forces from about over 250 to 1 million, and of course for the police similar number to about 1 million. We believe that we will not only get security with that, but will give an opportunity for the young men and women to serve this country as members of the armed forces, members of the police, members of the DSS, and so on. And that was why we decided to say that those who graduate and join the NYSC, we have a special package for them, and I think that is very relevant to the students here. Instead of 1 year NYSC, one would start right from the beginning, and then with special arrangement, join members of the armed forces and other paramilitary. We have decided, and is there in our blueprint, that we tackle the issue of insecurity. We are very angry that today, as we are sitting here, we have so many people, young men and women being kidnapped and under the bandits. We will continue to do whatever it takes to ensure that there is peace under our administration. The issue of education, if I may go back to it, is very critical to us. We will do our arrangement that no student, like we did in Kano, would go and buy any form if you are looking for a job, because we have seen so many people who are denied admission because they had no money to buy forms. That is one. Secondly, we have seen many students wanting to go for WAEC, NECO, IMBAS, and so on, but they could not pay the fee. We have also seen so many people wanting to sit for JAMB. They don't have money, therefore they will not be given the opportunity to get that. And that is why we decided in our blueprint to make all those free of charge. Nobody will pay. Many people may not understand this because to them 20,000, 50,000, 100,000, even more is just nothing. But we know today, especially with the economic situation, many people could not go to university or other tertiary institutions because of the fees. Therefore, it is our belief that Nigeria has a lot of resources and we proved it in Kano. And also those who succeed in getting JAMB. The system as it stands today is just for 1 year. If you don't get admission, next year you have to sit for another exam and pay all the necessary fees. In our blueprint, we said, once you pass, you stay for 4 years, moratorium, 4 years. You don't need to go and sit for that exam again. We believe that was an exploitation, and we believe that government must take responsibility to ensure that the sons and daughters of the poor are all given opportunity to go to the university. I remember maybe close to 100% of those we sponsored were sons and daughters of the poor. Today, we have them, at least 100 of them, as pilots. Many of the local flights that I use are members of the Hokosia scholars. Many of the lecturers, maybe I will discuss that with the Vice Chancellor. There must be so many scholars here in the University of Abuja and all other universities across the country, because I meet them wherever I go, they come and meet me. So our own belief is education, education, and education. Even though now, because we took the issue of security for granted, because we thought everybody can do security. Of course, security cannot, or education cannot be effective if there is no security. So, we are so happy with our blueprint. We are able to touch on various areas, the area of security, the area of education, and so on and so forth. So I am very happy that Nigerians have now gotten an alternative to the total failure that we call PDP and APC in this country. Not only Nigerians, especially politicians. Before now, if some faces don't like you in PDP, you can't get out. You can only go through the other APC. And if you are hated there, you can't do anything. Because if you join any other party, it's like you have lost the election. Now we are very lucky that those of us who have interest in politics are given an opportunity to make sure that everybody realizes his or her full potential. I'm happy that we have also looked at various areas, especially the area of governance. And that was why we introduced what we call community participation and reorientation committees to involve the local communities. Because we noted in 4 or 8 years of reforms that we intend to bring into the governance in this country, we still need an additional support of a structure, and that's why we form these committees in all the wards, the 8,809 wards that we have in this country. Each committee, each ward has 11 members. Under the traditional ruler, in Kano, we have village heads. We call them Dagatai. Of course, we have the clergy, or the imam, as the case may be. We have representative of students, that committee. We have representative of the people with disability, chairman of the NNPP and another party, chairman of PTA in the ward, so on and so forth. And these people will be funded, the committee will be funded directly from the federal government through legislation. They will handle the issue of education. Almost everywhere I visited, I saw dilapidated schools. local governments are not being funded by state governments. Of course, we are going to look at that. We have to make sure that local governments get their own monies from the Federation out. So this committee will use the resources to rehabilitate schools, where necessary put additional classes and so on and so forth. We have done that in Kano, call it Community Rehabilitation Committee, CRC in Kano. They are the people feeding our children in primary schools, supplying them with uniforms and so on and so forth. So the CRC, now CPRC, is going to be a very important part of our government as a committee. It's a stopgap, it's something that we just use, it's not anything to do with the actual operation of government. It's just to sort out the immediate problems that we had or we still have in government. So there are many other issues in our blueprint. We hope that each and every one of you will have time, create time to go through the blueprint so that you can understand it and see the clear difference between the NNPP, our party, and other parties. And I will also urge the Vice Chancellor to invite other leading presidential candidates to come here and stand for 1 hour to talk to the students. Thank you very much. I was told this is the time to stop, and I want to say thank you very much. I appreciate each and every one of you, and it's an opportunity for me to appeal to you to continue to work as hard as possible and try as much as you can also to avoid drugs. Drugs are not good for anybody, and therefore you have to try and avoid them. We have seen situations in the past where we had many students, bright students, involve themselves in drugs and other vices that at the end of the day they ended up being regretting. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much. I think our presidential candidate deserves another round of applause. Now, as young people, I want to put all of us in your prayers that by May 29th this year, we'll be welcoming President Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. agenda will be questions and answers. And as is the tradition of this department, we'll start our question and answers from the doyens of our department, our major professors, who are seated at the left-hand side. We're going to start with Professor Saleh Dauda, who would ask his own question, and then we would have Professor Uki and Professor Kubu immediately after. Thank you.
Let me stand on the existing protocol. Let me also acknowledge my internal examiner at the University of Maiduguri, Professor Ahmed Rufai Al-Qadi. Then fresh from the university, he served as my internal examiner, and I cherish that memory. Thank you, sir, Engineer Dr. Musarabi Bokuso. I'm one of those who admire your policies. Nigeria's image in the global community seems not to be encouraging. Furthermore, Nigeria's leadership position also has suffered some setbacks. Can you just tell us the policy measures that you have that you think can restore the fortunes of Nigeria in the global system, and also our image before the international community, which seems not to be too encouraging? Thank you, sir.
Three questions.
Thank you for the opportunity once more. Standing on the existing protocol, we have listened to you and Professor Iram Uke, Department of Political Science, International Relations, University of Abuja. We've listened to you, and we have seen how the engineering education in Kano State, and it worked, and it still works. Now, the shape we are in, that we started drilling crude oil, 1960-something, 67, up to today we cannot refine. The Ayurveda still mill, more than 30 years now. The whole community was built with our money, and nothing is working. And we know that without economic development, we will still be in the problem we are, and even more. What are you going to do, sir, to really make Nigeria refine its crude oil so that we have enough fuel in Nigeria? What will you do for the steel rolling mill in Ayurveda to work? What would you do to make sure that we have electricity, whether from solar or from wind or from anywhere? What will you do practically? I've put you a manifesto, and the manifesto is very rich. But the problem we have in Nigeria is always the implementation of policy. Looking at this manifesto, if it's implemented, Nigeria will work. When you get there, what will you do to solve all these problems I've identified? So that
Good afternoon, everybody. I stand by the existing protocol. Sir, okay, I'm Professor Barrister Solomon Ogu. His Excellency, sir, Without security, there cannot be development. Without security, all the big talk about promoting education and all of that is not possible. It has assumed a very dangerous dimension to the extent that potential investors who would have come from somewhere to invest in critical sectors of the economy to make our economy develop are not coming again. Farmlands have been destroyed and so on. So I know you made allusion to that. Allusion to security, to recruit more soldiers and all of that. But how to contain the menace of insurgency if you are given the opportunity to establish government at the federal level? Are you thinking about creating state police? People have been agitating for that. State police, that the national police will have at the federal level are not able to cope with the challenges facing there. Are you going to encourage community policing? Are you going to encourage local security outfits like Amateku and so on? So we'll be happy to hear what your strategy will be to deal with the situation.
I think the candidates will give us answers.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me thank the first Professor Stanley Dauda. All concerned about our image abroad. And I believe the best way to redeem our image outside is, of course, to put our house in order. Once we have our house in order, many things will fall in line. It is very important for us to engage everybody. Some of these issues, politics itself. Politicians will win election and they will decide that that victory belongs to them and those they like alone. Good governor, good president must carry everybody, including members of the opposition. Once you start on a clean slate, working together with the communities, working together with everybody as much as you can, I believe that the house can be good. And of course, in addition to so many things that you have to put in place, including security of education itself, security of job opportunities, security of food, security of health, and so on and so forth. That is very important. And in addition to that, the provision of security also will enhance our image, because if you have crisis in your home, if you go out of the country, people will start wondering whether you are part of the bandits yourself, because they know they are there in your home, and so on and so forth. And of course, we have to come with our policy, and that is exactly what we have in our blueprint, that our policy is centered mainly around
Nigerians themselves. With that, all those things that I mentioned must come to play. And of course, we have friends all over the world. Those are friends we have to work together, because no country can today stand as an island. And that is why working together with them will help the image there. And of course, you have everything to gain in terms of working together, provision of intelligence, in terms of the security, in terms of equipment, and so on and so forth. So a lot of things must be done to improve our image abroad. And we have to come up with so many programs and projects to engage everybody, and of course the community participation and reorientation. I believe we require some level of reorientation in this country, ranging from our commitment to working for the country and so on and so forth. So reorientation is very important for all of us. The second professor, the issue of oil, refining of oil, is very unfortunate that over the years we are not able to even maintain our refineries. Today, I'm sure Professor is aware that there is a huge refinery built by Dangote, and we are hoping very soon they will start refining. And it is the intention of our government to encourage that investment, and also to ensure that opportunities are given to him and other entrepreneurs in this country or even abroad to invest more in refining our oil. It is ridiculous that despite all this long time that Nigeria has been producing oil, we are only taking it out of the country now just to buy it at an exorbitant cost. And all the products that go with them, of course, we will not have opportunity to have them. And many of our young men and women are studying in this field. They will graduate, and many of them, if not most of them, will hardly get any opportunity to get a job, because we don't have that job here in this country. And of course, other areas like electricity, the issue of steel, and so on. I think they are part of the failure. The Ajaokuta has been there since the days of Shagari. You have the Second Republic. Presidents will come and presidents will go, they're still there. I think a good president will do whatever it takes to make sure that those investments are put to use. Because what we are seeing now in this country, and of course all other countries, is very difficult to make any progress without reliable, affordable electricity, and of course the issue of steel itself. We have the iron ore, we have all the other raw materials necessary for that. And we are ready to make you mentioned the issue of implementation. We'll do whatever it takes to put all those on board so that our young men and women can have opportunity to work in this country. And finally, the issue of security that was being mentioned. Well, I am happy that we were able to touch on the issue of security, but certainly not in details. Our intention is not only to employ or to engage more hands
in the military, in the police, and other paramilitary. But of course, we will provide additional technology. We should invite or provide all other facilities necessary to ensure the peace of our people. You put it rightly, without security, even the education we are talking about, and not to be possible. And that's why security is key, and we work together with everybody, with all the communities in this country to give the necessary intelligence so that together we can secure our land. All the issue of insurgency, all the issue of people who are taking our young men and women, or people generally, the bandits, we believe with good arrangement in this country we have sufficient resources to have to help each and every one of us to be in peace. So that's the position we believe, especially going by my experience in the Ministry of Defense. I believe Nigerian military is a very respected military, very much feared by the enemies, and so on and so forth. So we'll take necessary steps to ensure security in the country. Thank you.
We have 3 more questions from Professor Adenichi, Dr. Agaba, and an MSc student, Kelechi Ayozi. After that, we'll have the last set of questions. Professor Adenichi, please.
bring Nigeria out of poverty, as it is very obvious that this is central to midwifing the new Nigeria. And so, this is my solution. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Your Excellency, our Vice Chancellor, other members of the House, ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Agaba Hino, Department of Political Science and International Relations of this great university. Your Excellency, sir, I want to put in the record that for over 2 decades, as student of politics, I was in a government like this. I remember the last time I saw something like this was when I was in secondary school, the student of government. There is one part of government in SS2 where we are going to study Nigerian political parties, that's of manifesto and ideology. That was the last time I saw something like this. I stand to be corrected. Sir, my question is this. It's no longer news that there's a crisis that brings the university system. Most especially when it comes to university or business study, university density. So months back last year, towards the end of last year, the federal government recognized and gave certificate to some set of people. And then you have ASU, you have Conwan, and other engineering universities. And this is unheard. So, sir, if you are elected as president of Nigeria, how will you address this problem? And secondly, just like Professor Cyrus talked about Nigerian foreign policy, Nigeria has been to so many peaceful regions around the world. Invested a lot, military personnel took supreme price. Sir, what can we do to make our foreign policy beneficial, just like Professor Onyema Amendi advocated, beneficial for simplicity? How do you intend to actualize that? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Delich. Mr. Delich, please.
Thank you very much.
Short question, please.
Yes, we're standing on the existing protocol. My name is Kelechi Ayozie, student of an MSc student of International Relations and Diplomacy. My question goes to us, sir. Are you comfortable with the present administration's compliance to the rule of law? If you're not, sir, what are you going to do that will be different, since we are looking into a new Nigeria, something that will be different from the old?
Thank you very much. Let me thank Mr. Denka and all those who appreciated our blueprint. I say on behalf of the party and all of us, thank you for that. And the issue of investment, especially the foreign direct investment. The first issue, of course, is the security. Nobody will be in a hurry to go to any country that is not safe. Why? Because he or she has an alternative to go elsewhere. So the issue of security is key to all other sectors.
especially investment. We have seen in this country, not even the foreigners, even local people are finding it very difficult to invest. In fact, many places now are being left because of insecurity. So you cannot do anything there. We even have a situation in some places today that farmers cannot go to the farm. People cannot move freely from point A to point B to go and sell or buy goods and services. And therefore, in almost all the areas, security is very important, but certainly is even more important to the foreign direct investment. There are many other factors, even the issue of taxes. In this country, we have multiple taxations to the extent that many investors who are here had to leave because they cannot make profit with the existing taxes. We have checked and realized that in this country, the company taxes stand at about 33%. And we looked around and we decided that we are going to reduce that from 33% to 25%. Now somebody would think that we will lose money. No. With 33%, which we believe is not realistic, so many people today are fighting teeth and nail to see how they can go around that 33%. And they will end up paying very little to some people and will avoid that tax. Nothing goes into government's coffers. By 25% is realistic, we believe people will pay and is internationally competitive, and people will be encouraged to come and set up their businesses. And of course, those that are already in the country will be encouraged to expand. So we will do whatever it takes to ensure that we have investments both locally and internationally. The issue of poverty. Yes, there must be poverty. You don't even need to be an economist to know that prices are always going up and up. In fact, that was what PDP was banking. They will tell you how much rice was selling when they were in government and how much it is today. They will tell you how much dollar was selling and how much it is today, and so on and so forth. And in a situation where you have very few goods being chased by a lot of money, prices will continue to go up. Today, many farmers cannot go to farm, and there is no deliberate policy by government to support the farmers. Now, where can you get the food? And if you don't have enough food, like all other commodities, prices will go up. And that is why we have a situation whereby everyday prices of items are increasing. The issue of importation, there are many things that we can do in this country if facilities are provided, if people are mobilized and supported by relevant financial institutions. All that many people don't think about, then what they think is probably what they can get that day. So we believe that the situation as it stands, poverty can only increase because nobody is doing anything. You don't go to any workshop or any place or any area and find relevant people working to change the trend. So, yes, there is poverty. Unfortunately, we have not seen any serious efforts in terms of all these indices that were being mentioned by the government. And that was why we decided to address the issue of poverty from many angles, including even the education we are talking about is very critical. And of course, provision of infrastructure. We provided 3 cities in Kano, Konkosia, Amana, and Bandra cities in Kano. That's in 4 years. It was deliberate to create job opportunities for our young men and women. Yes, we will get houses at the end of the day, but no good governor or good president will allow his own people to go hungry or to be jobless. So there are certain things that you will do immediately. All those things that we have done in terms of infrastructure, from the housing or the cities we built, to the schools I mentioned, to the hospitals and the roads, electricity and so on. A lot of people were involved. You find during our time in Kano, you cannot even go and get roofing sheets easily, or even sand. You have to go and book stones. Even mechanics to repair the tippers, and so on and so forth. And all these people, when they have money, they go to market to buy food, to buy other essentials, services, and so on. And that's how to move modern economy. So there are many things that must be done, ranging from the security itself, to issue of education, to issue of infrastructure, especially the electricity, the rail, the roads, and so on and so forth. And unless that is done, it's very difficult. And of course, the fiscal and monetary policies, they are very critical. You cannot go and say this is the cost of how much central bank is selling dollar, and of course, this is much the commercial banks are selling dollar, and you cross the road, another cost of dollar at that particular time. Certainly, that will only help very few people who have access to the money. They make money, just easy money like that, and it's part of those things that have discouraged Nigerians from hard work, easy money. So, if I will go to the issue of education again, I like always discussing education. We have a lot of crises across the tertiary education or tertiary institutions today, and of course down to primary schools in the country. In fact, most people, if not all people in government, are not talking of education today. They have better things to discuss. And mainly now, people are talking of how either they will come back for second term, or how they can put their own man, somebody who will go and tell us that he wants to continue with what is happening. Because most of them don't know what is happening. They live in their own world upstairs there, while all of us are downstairs. We don't know what they are doing, and I'm sure they don't know what is happening at grassroots. And that's why we always take opportunity to go to places to campaign on roads, to meet our people in the villages and towns and cities, to make sure that we are conversant with the issues on the ground, ranging from the poverty we are talking about to the issue of infrastructure. Most of our roads now are very much dilapidated. I think I know more of Nigerian roads today than many Nigerian drivers, those who are driving buses and so on. Because some of them will only be going to either Ibadan or Maiduguri or Sokoto. They keep on repeating that road. Today, I visited over 400 local governments. And I'm so happy that I saw them, even though I was very angry that the roads were that bad. The red line is becoming a history now. Maybe apart from Kaduna to Abuja, maybe Lagos, Ibadan, I don't know. You don't see them. My village, Konkoso, is along red line. We have a station, Konkoso railway station. In those days, it's a huge economic activities. If it is coming from the south, it will come with so many fruits, with so many, even oil, corn, everything. So many activities were taking place in my hometown. If it is going back, they will carry many things ranging from cows, horses, turkey, everything we have in the north. Take them back there. And now it's just like a history, we don't see it. And even the roads that are under construction, they're just there. So, still on the issue of education, we'll work hand in hand with ASU and other associations under the education sector to make sure that we have good understanding, because it's key. And you see, one thing we succeeded in Kano is to instill confidence in almost everybody that we mean well. Because if you give impression that you are taking away the money, you are just giving out peanut, then there is a problem. Even when you give more and more, people will believe that you are not honest to yourself, you are stealing the money. One thing we established in Kano is that we decided to be upright. Keep our hands clean. Everybody knows that. Even the enemies. Because their prayer is they want you to soil your finger. Because in politics, you can't hide anything. Once you do it, people will know. And you are in trouble. So, we have the confidence of our people, our staff, politicians, everybody. That's why we canceled the issue of security votes in Kano. We were not taking security for the 8 years I was governor, because we believe security vote is stealing. That's what we believe in ourselves. That was why we tried to sanitize people around us, ranging from our family to our friends, and so on and so forth. Because we know if they cannot catch you, and they can catch your wife, it can even be worse for you. So that's why we tried to make sure that all those who are not supposed to go and do the wrong thing must be stopped for even your personal interest. You can imagine now, if Konkoso has a big scandal, I wouldn't even be here. Enemies are there, very powerful ones. They are there, they will bring it. So, what is important is it begins from you as a person, because you cannot give what you don't have. That's key. So we had good understanding with all the associations, not only in the education sector, in all the sectors. We have a lot of respect. And I think that is key for leaders to have confidence of their people. And it starts from people around you. Governors, presidents must keep their eyes on movement of everything, including resources. Because even if you don't take and your people are taking, it's one and the same. And that must be stopped. Of course, the issue of foreign policy was raised again. And we will do whatever it takes to make sure that our housing order, very important, all those countries that are being respected is mainly because their house is in order. They are doing very well in terms of security, in terms of education, in terms of infrastructure, job opportunities, all sorts of things, in rule of law, and so on. And the last one, Kilechi, is mentioned the issue of rule of law. Well, I believe government can do much better than what we are seeing today. We had cases where people were given bail from the courts. Government was not respecting, and many other things from the courts. Even the intervention, government putting, executive putting their fingers in other two arms of government, that is not healthy, and I think it's the sort of thing that all those concerned should keep their eyes on. And I was in our pledge, in our blueprint, we pledged the rule of law in this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I have received directives from the Vice Chancellor that he wants his students to interact. So henceforth, the floor is open for students. And we know our students and other members of the public that are here. But students who are interested can raise their hands and we'll ask them to give questions. Yes.
My name is Efunife Emmanuel from Department of Political Science and International Relations, standing on the existing protocols. So all candidates prepare to win, but no candidate prepares to lose. So my question is, if you lose the election, would you support other candidates, and how do you intend to do this? Thank you.
Greatest Nigerian students, I know that question excited you, but please let's be quiet so that we can hear from other students. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. From your speech, sir, I think very well. My name is Fabiola Ibrahim. From your speech, you said, like you told us what you did in Kano State, how you awarded scholarship to college students. So I want to know, is that still a plan for Nigerian students, or we are going to do a standard to meet standard of all the developed countries, so that we won't have to be exporting our experts outside there?
Good afternoon, Your Excellencies. Standing on existing protocol, my name is Lady Kiruseli Okoro. I'm a PhD student in the Department of Political Science. Your party, the New Nigeria People's Party, we would have expected to hear the Nigeria your party envisioned, as you have clearly stated that APC and PDP are no longer in good laws. So what is the new Nigeria that your party is midwifing? We want you to expatiate on the Nigeria vision that is quite distinct from what we have in APC and PDP. Then the second question is,
Standing on the existing protocol, my name is Dr. Manikaba from the Department of Economics Education. Sir, the policy that the CBN is formulating, if you look at it particularly, over 4,000 accounts of entrepreneurs has been frozen. By the grace of God, if you emerge as the President of Federal Republic of Nigeria, what are the policies that you will implement or that will encourage entrepreneurs? Because no country can flourish or do better without entrepreneurs in place.
My name is Sadi Family Jalemo from the Department of Political Science and International Relations. My only question is that, what is about the issue of free education in this country? Because I am the one who benefited the free education when I was in secondary school, that is from Kano State. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. Standing on the existing protocols, His Excellency, sir, I am Gideon Chukwuemeka by name. Having listened to your lecture, sir, I must first of all appreciate your concern, your concrete concern for the masses. But my thought is this: with regards to your new or your proposed policy concerning JAMB, you said something, sir, that JAMB would be valid for 4 years. I was thinking about it when I was sitting there, and I felt that perhaps a student who wrote sure, if that policy is implemented, I feel if that student doesn't gain that admission that year, the student would have another 1 full year to be lazy academically, with the mindset of I don't need to register for JAMB again. So I feel it can affect the students' discipline to study, because if there is JAMB next year, the student will prepare for exam. So please, I'm not going to so that I think we need to better the government just turn the JAMB exercise and allow students to take this JAMB, because it keeps them fit before coming to school. We need to better the government fund it.
Standing on the existing protocol, my name is Job from the Department of Political Science and International Relations. According to Cyrus, debt is the slavery of the free. Due to the borrowing by the federal government of Nigeria, our public debt is 44 trillion naira in return to. Sir, please, I would like to ask, how do you intend to bring solutions to this borrowing, and how do you intend to pay back our debts? Because the country is debt. The country is debt.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Ibrahim Salah, and I'm from Department of Political Science and International Relations, standing by the existing protocol, sir. Sir, my question is that if, so many presidential candidates have been here, sir, they gave us their manifesto, they told us about what they want to do, about how they want to improve educational system in Nigeria, about how they will tackle insecurities in Nigeria, about how they do this and how they do that. So my question is that if you get into power, how sure are we that all these things that you said here together, all here today, sir, that it's going to be implemented? So that's the question.
The last expression for today. So let's come.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hawa Suleiman, Department of Political Science, Senior Student. Honorable Sir, I just want to express how grateful I am today for seeing you here. It's a great pleasure for me to welcome you, sir. No words are amazing enough to describe how fantastic I am today, sir. You are a legend, a hero, a warrior of the best kind. The most courageous man. Thanks for opening our eyes of opportunity and strength. We will forever be grateful for your guidance and kindness. We are so grateful that you are here, sir. And inshallah,
One house, please. One house, please.
Thank you very much, students. Okay, I think Excellency can respond to the many questions from the students in the best manner and time possible.
Thank you very much. Let me start by the first person who raised the issue of losing election. Let me say that in the last 30 years, I contested election 18 times. I lost 3, I won 15. The first one I lost was in 2003 as a sitting governor. And let me say that I believe I was the first and only governor or even president who lost the election, not only by phone call. I picked my deputy governor and the commissioners and the other government officials to go to the person who was announced as the winner to congratulate him in his house. So, you see, I have no problem with accepting losing election. I did the same in Lagos in 2015 when Buhari came second, first, I came second, Atiku came third, Rochas came fourth, and some Daya fifth. I accepted, despite the fact that the 2003 election there were issues. Even the 2015 election in Lagos, there were issues, but still I accepted. The third one was 2019 in Port Harcourt, where Atiku won the election, primary election. Now, having said that, I also want to say that our prayer is that INEC and other stakeholders will do the right thing in 2023 election. Today's Nigeria is different from Nigeria we knew even in 2019. So many things have changed. There are so many people, in fact, the vast majority of Nigerians today are looking for a way out because people are sick and tired of status quo. So, things are changing, and I hope all stakeholders should understand the best way to accept 2023 election is by doing the right thing, free, fair, and of course, credible election. Otherwise, many things can go wrong. So I believe that going by what INEC did in the last 3 or so gubernatorial elections, we have hope. But what they did in 2019, especially in Kano, was a big shame to all the stakeholders, because we believe in Kano. Our candidate won gubernatorial election, but it was forced on somebody who lost the election. The issue of improving the universities instead of scholarship. You see, those of us who are elected were on contract 4 years and another 4 years maximum as a governor. Same thing with president. Now, the number of students that are applying into our Nigerian universities, go and check. The gap is too wide. It's just a fraction that are getting admission into our Nigerian universities, including private universities and public universities, and even other tertiary institutions. Now, if you have 4 years, you need every opportunity, because you want to mop up, you want to get the maximum number and best opportunities. And that is why you cannot say, I will only do my 2 universities in Kano and stop there. What of the other students? Or do only government universities? Or even do private universities only? Now, in our own case, in Kano, we did all, because we want maximum results in 4 years. And that is exactly what we are going to do when we have opportunities. We will work with ASU hand in hand to improve our universities in terms of capacity to admit students, in terms of facilities and infrastructure, and all the requirements that we will do, but at the same time, for us to satisfy our requirement of giving every Nigerian an opportunity, there is no way you can do that locally. But our long-term plan is not only to stop students going abroad, but also to attract students from outside the country to come to Nigeria and study. But you cannot do that overnight. In fact, you have to train and retrain so many people to even accommodate, to be part of the educational expansion. And you cannot do that day one with the Nigerian universities. You have to put everything on the table to make sure that opportunities are going around or have gone around. Now, expatiating on the new Nigeria I envisaged. Well, I think I have said a lot about that.
You can see these are some of the issues affecting the country. And that is why we invite our presidential aspirants to ask them and to listen to them on how to deal with the situation. But as the power ceases off, I contacted the person in charge of the university generator. They are working to put it on back so that we conclude the answer or question and answer segment before we end with the town hall meeting. By next week on the 30th, the university, in partnership with the Voice of America, OA, will be hosting another town hall meeting here, same venue with other presidential aspirants. So it is our responsibility as members of the university community and political science department in particular to further this particular engagement until we are fully satisfied that we get them engaged to tell us about their blueprint and what they are supposed to do for us, what are their visions and mission for this particular country. Thank God the light is back.